board we have two diagrams, one representing a rectangular seedbed and the other is a square seedbed. Based on the information given, the width of the rectangular seedbed is x meters. So this is our width. We know that rectangles have width and length. The length of the rectangular seedbed is 3 times its width. So 3 times means multiplication. So 3 times its width, since its width is x, it means 3 times x, which is 3x. And this 3x is the length. We are also given information about the square. The length of a side of the square is y. Now, whenever we're dealing with rectangles and squares, these are some formulas that you need to know. So the first is the area. The area of a rectangle is its length times its width. And the area of a square is its length times its length, which is L squared. You also need to know what the perimeter is. Now, the perimeter is everything on the outside. So all the sides of a rectangle, when we add all the sides, that will give us the perimeter. So the rectangle, it has two length, so that is 2L, and it has two width, and that's 2W. As for the square, it has 4 equal sides. 4. All the sides are equal, so that's 4L. So it's saying using the information given above, derive a simplified expression for y in terms of x. So we want to derive a simplified expression. So we're going to use the parameters to do so. So starting with the rectangle, we're going to write everything in terms of x. So P is equal to 2 times the length. What is the length? 3x. Plus 2 times its width. What is the width? X. So this is equal to 6x plus 2x, which is equal to 8x. So the perimeter of the rectangle is equal to 8x. And as for the square, P is equal to 4y because y is the length. Based on the information, y is the length. Now, to get an expression in terms of both the rectangle and the square, it means that we're going to add the perimeter of the rectangle, which is 8x, and also that of the square, which is 4y. And this is our expression. Let's see. Oh, so this is a bit of a tricky question, you know. This is a bit of a tricky question because it's saying derive a simplified expression for y in terms of x. So for us to do so, we can only do something like that if we're working with equations. The difference between an expression and an equation is that the equation, it has an equal sign. So for us to convert this expression into an equation, we need to go back to the question. You would notice that 60 meter of mesh was used to protect the seedbed. So the 60 meter would have been used around. It would be used around. So to cover the perimeter of the rectangle and also that of the square. So all of this would equal to 60 because that is what was used, the total of mesh that was used. So to write, and we can go even further. We could further simplify this equation. You notice that 4 can go into each, so we could divide each by 4. So this is 2x plus y is equal to 15. So it's saying to derive an expression in terms of y. It means you're gonna make it the subject of the equation. So to do so, we're going to have y is equal to 15 minus 2x, and this is our answer. Let's see how many marks? 2 marks. So for this, you get 2 marks. So part B of the question, it's saying the area of the rectangular seedbed is equal to the area of the square seedbed. So we already have the formula for each. So what we need to do with the formula of the rectangle is we're going to write everything in terms of x. So the length is x and the width, oh, sorry. The length is 3x. You write that down. The length is 3x and the width is x. So 3x times x, that's equal to. And as for that of the square, it is y times y, because that's what the length is, y. So y times y is equal to y squared. So they are saying that the area of the rectangle is equal to the area of the square. So what is the area of the rectangle? So it is 3x squared, and it is equal to the area of the square, which is y squared. So that's the first part of B. The area of the rectangular seedbed is equal to the area of the square seedbed. Use this information and your answer in A to write a quadratic equation in terms of x and show that it simplifies to. So they give us x squared minus 60x plus 225. This is what they've given us. And they want us to use everything that we have so far to get back this. So let's get started. So 3x squared is equal to y squared. Now we know what y is. We worked out earlier that y is equal to 15 minus 2x. So all we need to do is to substitute that for y. So 3x squared is equal to 15 minus 2x all squared. So let me show you how you would go about working this out. Now, there's a formula to do this. This is the formula. The formula is a minus b all squared. And it is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That is the formula. So this is what we're given, which is 15 minus 2x all squared. So the 15 is our A and the 2x is B. So based on what is given, we're going to square A. According to the formula, you're going to square A. So 15 squared is 225 minus 2ab. So we're going to multiply A times B. So 15 times 2x, that is 30x. And we're going to multiply that now by 2. So 30x times 2, that's 60x. Plus b squared. So b squared is, if you multiply 2x times 2x, that is 4x squared. So b squared is 4x squared. So we now have 3x squared is equal to 225 minus 60x plus 4x squared. So I'm going to rewrite what I have down here. I'm just going to rewrite it here so you can see it better. 3x squared is equal to 225 minus 60x plus 4x squared. So now we're going to equate everything to 0. So we can do so by simply bringing over this 3x squared. So when we bring over the 3x squared, so on the right, we have 225 minus 60x plus 4x squared. And when we bring over this 3x, it's going to become negative 3x squared. 3x squared, my bad. So when we bring over 3x squared, it's going to become negative 3x squared. And all of that is equal to 0. So let's further simplify. 225 minus 60x, subtract this, 3x from 4x, 3x squared from 4x squared, that is equal to 1x squared. 1x squared is the same as x squared. And what we're going to do is we want to remember a quadratic equation. It looks like this. This is what a quadratic equation looks like. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And remember that the signs will always change. But just look at the order. So we're going to put it in order. So our first is ax squared. So our x squared, that's going to come first, followed by our bx. What is our bx? This. The minus 60x, followed by c. C is that number, any number that's greater than 0. And that is 225, and it's equal to 0. All of that is equal to 0. Now, I know that this may look funny to a lot of people because you're used to the 0 being on the right. So it looks very funny when it's on the left. But what you could do is look at my marker. On one side of my marker, it's red, and then the other side, it's white. And if I just flip my marker, I have now white on the one side and red on the other. So look at what I'm going to do with this equation. I'm going to say x squared minus 60x plus 225 is equal to 0. So all I did was I just flipped it. I didn't bring anything over. And this is what I ended up with. So we have shown or proven that what we've been doing so far, we're on the right track. So the next part, we're asked to solve the equation. Okay, so we're asked to solve this equation. So let me just erase what we have on this side. And we're going to solve the equation. So it is a quadratic equation. And there are two ways to solve quadratic equations. You can do so using the factorization method or the formula method. So when you're given your exam paper, so that answer sheet, the sheet that's at the front of the paper, you'll notice a list. You're going to find the quadratic formula there. However, this question states that we should use the formula. Okay, so we should use the formula. So that's the method we will use. So what is the formula? X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So we need to know what a is, b is, and c is. So remember the formula. the general formula of a quadratic equation. That's the general formula. The signs, don't worry about the signs will always change. But we need to know what A, B, and C, what each is. So A and B are coefficients. A is the coefficient of x squared. Coefficient means a number that's in front of a variable. A is the coefficient of x squared. So here is our x squared. We don't see any number in front of it. That is because whenever you don't see a number in front of it, it means that the number is invisible, and that invisible number is 1. So we're going to make it visible today. So it means that A is equal to 1. B is the coefficient of x. Now, B is negative 60, not 60. Negative, here's the minus. It is negative or minus 60. So B is minus 60. And our C, this is our C, it's just a number. And that is, here it is, 225. So we're going to plug in these values into this equation to solve for x. So let's go. X is equal to minus b. What is b? B is minus 60. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is minus 60 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 225, divided by 2 times a. Now, when you have two minuses in a row, that's a plus. So this is 60 plus or minus the square root of negative 60 squared, that's 3,600, minus 4 times 1, which is 4. 4 times 225, that's 900, divided by 2. So x is equal to 60 plus or minus the square root of 3,600 minus 900, 2,700, divided by 2. Now let's find the square root of 2,700. 51.96 divided by 2. So we're going to have x is equal to 60 plus 51.96 divided by 2, or x is equal to 60 minus 51.96 divided by 2, because that's what plus or minus is. So let's work this out. This is equal to 55.98 or 4.02. So we have two values for x, and one of them are go wrong. One is incorrect. So to determine which is incorrect, we need to now find the values for y. All right, so remember earlier we had worked out an equation for y. Let's pull that up. And y is equal to 15 minus 2x. And this is the equation that we're going to use. We're going to substitute these values of x into to get the values of y and see which one makes more sense. So let's go. All right. So what we're going to do is, so the equation is y is equal to 15 minus 2x. y is equal to 15 minus 2 times x. X is 55.98. So we're going to plug that in. Y is equal to 15 minus 2 times 55.98. That is 111.96. Y is equal to minus 96.96. We cannot have a negative value for y. So it means that this value of x is incorrect. So this is our correct value of x. Let's now work out the value for y when x is equal to 4.02. So again, y is equal to 15 minus 2x. Let us substitute 15 minus 2 times x, which is 4.02. Y is equal to 15 minus 2 times 4.02, that's 8.04. Y is equal to 6.96. And that's it. Let's now move on to the next question. Calculate the total area of the 2 seed beds. So we worked out the area of each seed bed earlier in part B. So let's pull up that again. And we're going to write that down. So let's rewrite what we got in part B. The area of the rectangle is equal to 3x squared. Area of the square is equal to y squared. So remember, we established in part B that the area of the rectangle is equal to the area of the square. So we can use any of the above equation to find the total area. So let's use the area of the rectangle, which is 3x squared. So let's take a look at the question. They want us to find the total area, well, to calculate the total area of the 2 seed beds, So the only thing you're going to do different here is you're going to multiply by 2 because it's saying of the 2 seed beds. So I will multiply this by 2. So A is equal to 6x squared. And since x is equal to 4.02, we're going to substitute that into the equation. 4.02 squared. A is equal to 6 times 16.16. A is equal to 96.96. And always remember to put in your unit. So if you go back to the question, so from the beginning, it's in meter. So the area is meter squared. So that's the unit. The unit is meter squared. And this is our answer. So this is the total area. But what if we had used this equation instead to calculate the total area? Well, we would go ahead and say A is equal to y squared. They said of the 2 seed beds, so we would multiply it by 2. So A is equal to 2y squared. A is equal